I saw you posted a complete tutorial guide on how to create an animation all the way from the storyboarding or the script writing even storyboarding to the animation and the what was
Yeah.
exhibition part of it,
Hmm.
which is really fascinating because I feel like a lot of people who don't do this sort of stuff don't realize all of the phases that go into projects like these. When people think of animation, they probably only think of the part where, you put drawings together.
Yeah, I think that's true. Most art in any format, really. You look at a beautiful digital painting, or even a realistic oil painting like IRL, and people just say, "Oh, well, it looks incredible,"
Mm,
and you go, "Oh, they sat down and painted it," and
yeah.
it's like, no, there were many stages. There was the thumbnail sketches, and then you work up to a larger kind of compositing kind of uh, posing kind of step. Then from
Mm-hmm.
there, you might do a color pass just to see what kind of color mood you want. And then from there, you're like, okay, well, I've got the colors and the pose down. Better start refining it. And there might be 20 iterations of one piece of artwork. Now imagine that, but you've got to do a piece of artwork 24 times a second or 12 times a second. And that's animation, right? But it's interesting. I actually released that entire series as individual videos a while back, and YouTube just went, no, nah, it's not your usual content. I don't know how to promote it.
Mm,
So it didn't bother showing it to anybody. And you slap them all together in one long video, which is what I did
yeah.
today, the other day. I'm going away for my birthday and I had no content planned. So I was like, oh God, what am I going to do?
Mm.
So I did a compilation video, like that old sitcom trope where it's just clips of the old shows. But piecing it all together into like one cohesive thing, like you say, from a storyboard all the way through to exhibition. And there's stuff in there that I take for granted. And I think a lot of creators take for granted that people know when, like they say, you don't.
Mm.
People say, how do you write a script? And you go, well, you just do. You just go, I've got an idea and I'm going to put down the characters and, the situations they're in and a bit of dialogue. And there you go.
Yeah.
But, I've come from a background where I've done that in film and I take it for granted that people know what the hell I'm talking about,
Mm.
you know? So I thought that my idea with that series was to go, what if I'm a kid? It's 1990. I'm a kid again. You know, I find joy in things, and I'm on new grounds or whatever, and I'm watching Ego Raptor's animation, and I'm inspired to create an animation. How do I, as a 14, 15-year old, actually do that? So yeah, that series isn't more about, okay, to animate you need to have 12 pictures minimum per second, and this timing and spacing and anticipation and all that stuff's out the window. I've done that in videos again, which YouTube doesn't send to people because it doesn't know what to do with them. Just
Mm.
sends them to Alan Becker's one instead, which is incredible. It is a great video. Um, so I get rid of all that nonsense. And this was just more about, how do I actually sit down and make an animation? Well, you need a script. You need to turn that script into a storyboard. That storyboard needs to then move. So you block it out with an animatic. You take that animatic and you need to have record sound effects and dialogue. And how do I do that as a 18-year-old kid in my bedroom with a podcast mic,
Yeah.
and things like this? So that's what that series was about. It was more about getting people through the production side of
Yeah.
an animation and realizing what all the stages to it are, so that your plan is good enough that you get something at the end,
Yeah. It's so incredible like how much time goes into a 30-second video, right? It's insane, especially with animation.
Yeah, I mean, even putting together those videos took way longer than people think, because I do a 40-minute tutorial where it's basically real time, and I'm showing somebody how to do something. Well, that really only takes me 2-3 hours to make, because I figure out how to do it. I record myself doing it and figuring it out, and then I sit down and I record the tutorial, and that's it. Doesn't even need editing. You just trim it, make sure the audio is good, and chuck it up on YouTube. People see a 3-minute video on how to write a script, and they're like, "Oh, that didn't take very long."
Mm.
Oh, no, that probably took longer than the 40-minute video,
Yeah.
because you need to make all the assets, you need to write the script, record the script. Basically, you need to do all the work 3 times. You need to figure it out. You need to do it so that you've got it for the video, and then you need to put all that stuff into a video that's cohesive. And that's even without animating it. You've got to have everything finished before you
Yeah.
can make the first video
Yeah.
teaching how to do it. So making an animation is one of the longest things you can ever do. making tutorials about animations, oh man, it takes forever.
Yeah. Yeah, I can relate. I did TikTok for a few years, and even
Mm,
those 10, 15-second videos took sometimes 20 hours for just a small
yeah.
skit, right? And people just don't realize that. They don't see what's happening behind the scenes. So they're like, oh, all he does is TikTok videos. It's not fair that he gets views or whatever, whatever.
Yeah. And this isn't a new conversation, but the rate at which you're forced to create by these platforms is unsustainable as
Yeah.
well. Unsustainable is unsustainable as well. TikTok, especially Vine, when that was a thing. Do you
Mm.
remember Vine?
Yeah.
6, 7 second videos, you know, people scroll through these things so quick,
Yeah.
and interaction isn't even necessarily an interaction anymore with, especially with content this short. You know, you make a video and somebody watches it and they scroll past it, they may have enjoyed it. They may have been, oh, that was the best 6 second TikTok I've ever seen in my life. But they're already flicked past it and they're looking at the next thing and
Yeah.
the next thing and the next thing.
Yeah.
So then you're like, why aren't people interacting with my videos? Why aren't they getting the views? Why aren't they getting the likes? And it's like they probably are, but there's so much flood of content
Mm.
that they only have so much energy to interact with certain things as a consumer. And as a creator, to keep up with that, it's ridiculous. It's not possible. I commend you for doing it for so long.